Assalamu alaikum everybody. So I finally got a chance to sit down with you and make this video. It was so highly requested that I just thought, okay, I may not have as much time as I want to have to make this video, but I'll just do it. This video is going to be about women covering in general, not only in Islam, but just generally how women should be more modest and should reveal less of their skin and less of their body shapes, and I will give the reasons behind it. Now, I would like to start from myself, because whenever it comes to any kind of issues in life or just any issues that you face, the best thing to do is always to not to judge other people, but just turn around, look at the mirror, and, just kind of judge yourself first. So I will start with myself. Even before the Islam, I never used to wear too revealing clothes. Like, I would never wear like a miniskirt or like really short revealing dresses. I wouldn't feel comfortable in it. And it's not because I would not be happy with my body shape or anything. It's just that I felt like it's bad. It's not good at all. I remember this time, there was an evening, I think it was Friday or Saturday evening, and I was getting ready to go to meet my friend for dinner. I felt like I'm dressed up in a way that is appropriate. That was long, white skinny jeans, black high heels, and black shirt. There wasn't like too revealing my chest or my arms or anything at all. There was just plain, quite fitted though, black shirt. And I think I left my hair loose, and I left my apartment. Literally, maybe 2 minutes into walking towards the restaurant, the group of guys just turned to me and they were like, making all kind of comments and like, oh, how you doing and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I felt, it wasn't the first time when I get that kind of attention. But it never really bothered me too much. It always used to be uncomfortable and annoying, but it never bothered me. Like, I never gave it second thought. But at that point, I just remember how I felt. I felt so cheap. I could feel how their eyes are on my bottom. And I just felt like, I just want to cover, at that point, because I already kind of started studying about Islam, I wished I was wearing the full covering. I felt that, even if at that point I would be with the most glamorous Dolce & Gabbana dress and Gucci shoes, I would still feel so cheap. So that was my first experience of actually wanting to cover. That was only for myself. It wasn't because somebody told me to cover or anything. That was just realization in myself. It was because I wasn't a Muslim at that point. It even wasn't about the God or anything. It was just between me and me. I felt like I'm being exposed. I felt like I want to be protected. I felt like they're raping me with their eyes. Now, when it comes to Islamic dress and why women in Islam do cover their bodies, the main reason is the same. Why I start covering myself. That was because you just don't want to be exposed. You don't want, men to look at you in that way. And there's a big part of it is modesty. And what modesty is in Islam, I think there's none religion like that would embrace modesty. And that through Islam, you can actually see the beauty of modesty. I think the most beautiful thing for me was when I was still studying, the beginning stages of studying Islam, and I read about Hajj. In the eyes of Allah, in the sight of Allah, we all are equal. We all are the same. And people do dress in the same way during the Hajj, because there should not be any difference between poor person and a king. Let's say no difference between the king and the poor person. How beautiful is that? It really shows that in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we all are equal, we all are the same. So if covering does make women feel so comfortable, why do they not cover? And the answer actually lays in our society. I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV since, I don't know, the last time I actually watched TV was 3-4 years ago. Like actually sit down and be like, oh, I want to watch TV. And one of the reasons behind it is because there's so much of bias and so much of, basically, TV is a tool of brainwashing. Whenever you watch commercials or movies, whenever you buy one of those magazines like Cosmopolitan or whatever, and you go through it, all you can see is nakedness. Or if you do see dresses, they're like really revealing. And then you look at the prices of the dress and look really pricey. And then you look why they're so pricey, and then you look at the name of the designer, and it's usually a men's name. It's a name of men. Men design dress for women to wear. Men dictates women what to wear. Can you see where I'm going? When you think about it from such perspective, then you actually start thinking, is it really their choice? Is it really their own decision to wear those kind of clothes? From the magazine and commercials that I'm talking about, what does it dictate? It dictates you, it tells you, it brainwashes you, it tells you what is beautiful. And when you think about beauty, it changes like fashion. It changes just like that. Nowadays, we have such problems as anorexia, bulimia, early death. And these are the problems of our society. And females are the main target. The next time you do see a Muslim woman, a hijab-wearing woman, or just modestly dressed woman, just think again, who is oppressed and who is liberated? Dressing up modestly gives you liberation and gives you the freedom. The freedom not to expose your body. Is a woman in a short black dress and high heels is more free and liberated than a properly covered woman? What are they liberated for? What do they have right for that properly covered women does not have? Do they have a right to, I don't know, to be exposed? To be treated as an object? Do they have right to be raped? Do they have right to be hit on? Annoyed? What liberation are we talking about? Let's go back to the story when I told you about the first moment when I realized, the first day when I realized that I want to be covered. After my dinner with a friend, I came back home and I told my flatmate about how I feel, and I said, I felt so cheap, I felt so bad. And my flatmate said, she looked at me and she was like, well, feel proud. And she was like, well, feel proud, you're still on the market. And I was like, what? I was like, what is flattering in that? It's not like a nice compliment. It's not like someone coming to you and being like, oh, your eyes are beautiful. And whenever I'm thinking about Islamic dress and how it makes women, how it liberates women, and how it makes women, how it empowers women, and how it makes women be treated respectfully, I always remember about scholar Amina Salimi. She's one of my favorite female scholars. And I remember in one of her speeches, she was saying, when I walk into the room and there are some childish guys talking about their last night adventures, they shut up because they know that I'm a Muslim woman and I'm not gonna tolerate it. Also, she was saying, whenever I'm walking towards the door, people open the door for me because they know that I'm a Muslim woman, and I expect that to be done for me. Also, Muslim women have a right to be respected for her own ideas and for who she is and not the way she looks. They have a right to express their opinion in front of men without them being distracted by the forms of their body. And whenever I talk about that, I do remember this research that was ran by Italian psychology researchers, and the research was it was incredible actually. What they've done, they took a group of men and they set them on a couch in front of the TV, and they showed them the news. And on the news there were two journalists speaking, and one of them were male. And the male journalist start on his speech about some situation, and then after him there was a lady speaking, and then basically the lady was like proper, showing everything and loads of makeup and hair everywhere and like really beautiful nowadays, whatever nowadays beauty is. And then after that, all men were asked separately, to tell what the journalists were talking about. And it was fascinating, seriously. All the men properly remembered the most of the parts of the story that male journalists were talking about, but they could not remember what the girl journalist was saying. They could not remember. And several men actually did admit that while the girl was talking, they were too much distracted by her shape and were not interested at all in what she was saying. I hope that it was interesting, inshallah, and see you later. Salam.